Hello and welcome back to another episode. Today you join me on a rather humid afternoon, so if there's a slight sheen of sweat on my brow, apologies, but it is just warm and muggy. Nonetheless, today I want to share with you the tale of a very interesting item that I received in the post just a couple of days ago, and that is this. It's a torch. It's a right-angled torch, as you can probably tell, and it's a very special piece of kit called the TL-122. It's a torch that I'd only ever seen in one other place prior to having it in my hand, or indeed arriving in an Amazon package with no note, frustratingly, and that is Uncharted, the computer game series that I first played last year during lockdown. It was made free on the PlayStation Store, and in that sense it was a true experience. It was an adventure, it was a pleasure, it was a real joy to finally experience a character and a series of characters, in fact, that resonate with so many people. Friends and colleagues have been telling me for years that I would enjoy Uncharted, and having never been a PlayStation boy previously, especially not growing up, I'd never really dived in. But last year I had the chance, and boy oh boy, was it good. In fact, I went on to play the 3 games that came with the HD collection. I played A Thief's End on the PlayStation 4 game, Lost Legacy, which also on PlayStation 4, and I even went on to purchase the PlayStation Vita second hand on Facebook Marketplace, just so I could play Uncharted Golden Abyss, the portable Nathan Drake adventure, which might be my favourite Uncharted game, but that's a whole other video, I suppose. Anyway, this was a tremendous surprise, and I immediately, once I had the name of it, it's even on the side here, I started looking into it, and it turns out that this actually has its roots in 1937 or thereabouts. It's a torch designed just before the Second World War and was in use during the Second World War and in every major 20th century, 21st century conflict since. It's even, I think, issued with British vehicles to this day. It's a torch designed to be stood up, and you can have it on, for example, in your tent, which is quite handy, and read things or illuminate stuff on the wall. It has a switch that is obviously on, but also it has a halfway point. So if you go halfway, there's actually a small round button on there that you can push and signal in brief bursts of light, so SOS, that kind of thing. Really cool. And of course you have to make the noises when you are signalling to save your life in an emergency situation. Around the switch there's this sort of these double plastic flaps here, or I suppose there would be metal on the original, or so I've been led to believe, metal or plastic flaps that prevent you from accidentally turning the torch on as you're running maybe through the brush, or as you're crawling along the floor. There's a clip on the back, so you can clip it to your rucksack or to your belt, as Nathan does in the games. And when I went to put a battery, or rather 2 batteries in this, because whoever sent me this sent me the 2 batteries along with it, I discovered something else. The battery compartment isn't all that's at the bottom of this thing. At the very base, and this is what I opened first by accident, there is in fact a selection of lenses that allow you to change the colour of the torch on the fly. I believe that blue, yellow and green are used possibly for signalling to certain units, maybe gather at yellow, gather at blue, this kind of thing. Red and green can be used for stop and go kind of messages, and also red is a particularly useful lens in the dark. It doesn't destroy your night vision. So next time we go stargazing, or when we go camping next, I'm going to be using this torch so I can walk at night from place to place and not blind myself or risk blinding others. In the original, the torch was a single bulb affair. This is actually a 5 LED version, so it's a relatively modern iteration of the torch. But originally there was a spare bulb stored underneath the spring here, I've since learned. You sort of unscrew the spring, and in the bottom there's a compartment that is nonetheless built into this version of the torch, even though the spare bulb is not required. And it's, generally speaking, a really interesting and actually fairly usefully bright torch. I've been led to believe that the originals were slightly underpowered, especially compared to a modern portable torch. But I've tried this, I've gone to bed, for example, after watching the most recent Walking Dead. I walked up the stairs with just the torch guiding my way, and it's a really cool device. Indeed, I've just realised that next time I play Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, when it gets to my favourite interactive part of the game, I've made a video about this previously, do check it out, I will actually be able to tap along with the torch, with the controller, to reinvigorate Nathan's torch on his way down into the depths below Avery's house. It's just so cool. I love it. I absolutely adore this thing, and I simply had to talk about it today. Indeed, I had to thank whoever the heck you are for sending it my way, because I think you didn't just send me this, I think you also sent me the Nathan Drake statue, which I don't think I've formally referenced either on social media or in these videos. But again, thank you for this. This is Nathan as he I think he came. This is a special edition statue that came with the special edition of Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. Now, ironically, his torch is missing from his belt here. In fact, I could make one, couldn't I? Because I'm never going to sell this statue, or never, going to give it away. I could make one and maybe sort of temporarily attach it to his belt. That could be a really cool making project. But anyway, this a couple of months ago, I think now, a few weeks ago, arrived, and again, there was no note. I have no idea who sent it me, but as I was saying, or rather as Meryl was discussing with me on the Discord earlier today, whoever has sent me these two items knows that I will very much appreciate them, that I got the reference in this instance fairly quickly, and that I'm very, very grateful for them. This will also be a good field torch, I think, as well. It's quite robust, even though it's plastic. It's a cool thing, and maybe actually one day what I might do is I might get the metal body, the metal version of this, and fit it out with the LEDs from this particular plastic case, and I'll have an even more hardy torch. I don't know if that's possible. It looks like it is. It looks like you can unscrew the switch and install it in the new torch. Maybe it is possible. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm yabbering on now, but it was such a weird and wonderful thing to receive. And frankly, it arrived on a day when I'd had a really, what I call a spirally morning. I'd just been in the throes of anxiety. I'd been feeling, we don't feel quite depressed. I was in an unhelpful series of thoughts and intrusive ideas. And this just snapped me right out of it. In fact, Mrs. Soup noticed immediately. She was like, that torch really brightened your day, pun intended. Also, there's something else I've been playing with during this is that there's a hook as well. There's a pop-out hook on the bottom, which is quite nice. So almost like a lightsaber, you can sort of hang it from your belt. And there's also a space just in the base there that I might use. I might install a magnet in there, because it'd be cool if I could get a strong... I've got a couple of fairly strong magnets. Put one there, perhaps. And use that to make it so that I can maybe attach it to metal surfaces, so like the side of the van, or the inside of the boot, the bonnet, maybe if I'm examining an engine of a vehicle in the dark, which I have done before and is very awkward. But if you've got one of these, frankly, you could just stand this on the engine block, and it's such a cool little thing. It's fairly chunky thing, but on this, it's a cool thing, and I'm very excited to have it in my life. Thank you so much to whoever sent it my way. Diolch yn fawr. Merci beaucoup. Danke. I'm very grateful. And I love it. But I love it. Do I love it more than, or almost as much as? Almost as much as I love the Uncharted computer games. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this has been sort of interesting. Until next time, do take care. Bye-bye.